Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So, yeah, just give me clarification whether my screen is visible to you or not.
It's visible, sir.
Okay. So, in the last session, we have discussed how to install this IDE Python that we have discussed. So, like both of you have installed this IDE or not?
No, sir, I have not installed it yet.
Okay. So, second one is your Anaconda. Basically, in data science, we are referring this Anaconda. There is one reason behind this. This Anaconda is a package. So you can say a software in that we are getting everything, whatever things are required for data science. All the IDs and softwares you will get in this Anaconda. So let me show you what is Anaconda. Okay. See, it is a distribution of the Python and R programming language for scientific computing that aims to simplify package management. The distribution includes data science packages suitable for Windows. So, if you are able to install this Anaconda, by default, all the IDs are available in your system. By default. Whatever IDs are present in your system, whatever IDs are present in this Anaconda, all these IDs are by default available to you. Let me show you which kind, like Anaconda software. So this is your Anaconda software. And again, I am telling this software is little bit heavy software. It is a heavy software. It is not very like 2 GB or 1 GB. It is not like that. It is some heavy software it is. So if your RAM is more than 4 GB, then only try to install this Anaconda, else your system got hacked. So if you are installing Anaconda, it is recommended that your RAM must be greater than 4 GB. It is recommended. And coming to the installation process, so you will see here PyCharm. It's one ID which is already present in Anaconda. Anaconda AI Navigator. This is a new ID which is there for data science. After this, we are having Anaconda Toolbox, Anaconda Cloud Notebooks. What are these? These are your IDs only. Same as it is command.exe prompt, Jupyter Lab. Here you will see Jupyter Notebook is there, PowerShell prompt is there, and this Qt console is there, Spider is there. So if you are able to install Anaconda, by default, all these IDs are available to you. All these IDs are available. So Anaconda is what? It is a package. Package means it is a combination of different IDs. A lot of IDs are present in this. And whatever data science tools are there, all these data science tools are also available in this Anaconda. How we will see it? See here, these are the libraries or some codes, some inbuilt codes. Library means inbuilt code. Already inbuilt codes are there. So 522 files are there. What are these? These are data science files. So 522 data science files are already available for you. You can simply use these files. So that is the power of Anaconda. So if you are able to install Anaconda, by default, whatever libraries or you can say inbuilt code is there, that inbuilt code is freely available to you. You can use that. You can use that. Now, how to install it? The installation is very simple. What you need to do is just go on Google, type download Anaconda. Just simply type download Anaconda and hit enter. Download Anaconda distribution. Click on this. Download Anaconda distribution. Now, after this, here you can skip your registration. If you want to give mail ID, you can give it. It is free and open source. That means it is freely available. You need not to pay a single penny for using this Anaconda. It is freely available. Just click on skip registration. Now, here you will see download option is coming. Click on this download. When you are clicking on download, you will see your software is downloaded. And again, I am telling you, it is a heavy software. You will see 912 MB, approximately 1 GB software it is. So if your machine is not capable of holding this type of software, don't install this Anaconda. Don't install this Anaconda. So in my system, it is already installed. It is already downloaded. That's why I am not going to install it again. Now, after this, what is our next step? So once your downloading process has been completed, our next step is installation process. How we can install this Anaconda. So that we are going to discuss now. So let me show you. And there is one video as well, how to install Anaconda. This link I will share with you so that you will get to know how to you can install Anaconda in your system as well. So here step by step, I am going to show you how to install Anaconda. Okay. Now, first you need to go on this link. This link is nothing but the same link. Okay. After this, you need to click on download button. So after downloading, your app software will be downloaded. You will see this type of screen. No need to do anything. Just click on next. Click on next. Again, after that, you will see this type of license agreement. Again, click on next. Click on I agree. You are accepting the license. Next, just me. It is very important. You do mention as just me because you are downloading this software, you are installing this software for yourself. So just me means this software you are installing for yourself, not for all the users. That means no other users can access this. So basically, it is a cloud server provider. All users means over the internet you are going to use Anaconda. But in our time, we are using Anaconda for our local system. So we need to just click on just me and next. When you are clicking on next, now this path is very, very important. Don't change this path. Why I am telling this? Don't change this path. Because if you are changing this path, then by default, your path got changed. And by default, what is the path? This is the path. See, your C drive, user, your name, this is the path of Anaconda by default. By default, this Anaconda 3 is a path. If you are changing it, your libraries, your whatever things you are going to install after this, that will not be together at a common place. So by default, this is the path. Don't perform any changes in this path. If you are performing any kind of changes, it will raise an issue after installing it, because when we are dealing with business analysis or data analysis, we need to import some of the libraries, and we are going to use different IDs as well in that case. So this path will create an issue at that moment. So remember this, don't change this path. Just click on next. You need not to perform any changes in this. Just click on next. So when you are clicking on next, your installation, now here also, no need to mention it as my path environment variable, because by default, what is your path? Whatever Anaconda version you are using, that is your path. So no need to perform any changes in it. Just click on install. When you are clicking on install, it will start installation and it will take little bit of time. Okay, once you are clicking on install, because I told you it is a heavy software, it will take little bit of time for installing. After this, what is your next step? Next step is just click on next and click on finish. Your installation has been completed. So these are the steps that you need to follow for installing this Anaconda. So let me share this link with you. You can refer this guide for reference purpose. See, this is a link. Everybody refer this link to install Anaconda, because in the live session, if I will install, it will take a lot of time. I already told you that installation of Anaconda will take a lot of time. If you want a reference video, so I am also having a reference video. So let me show you. This is a reference video for Anaconda installation. So if you want, you can refer this video as well. I will share the link with you. So if I can show you, see, this installation part, this will take a lot of time. A lot of time this will take. So it depends on your internet speed, because in your Anaconda, a lot of IDs are there. So all those IDs are going to be installed in this. So you can refer this video for installation of Anaconda, how to open different IDs. Everything is there in this video. So you can just refer this link for installation of Anaconda in the live session. And other than this, in next session, if you guys have any kind of doubt in installation of Anaconda, please ask me at that. In next session, I have shared you the video. You will see how to install Anaconda, how to use this Anaconda for our Python programming. So for our business analysis session, I am also not going to use Anaconda. I am going to use this third approach that is known as Google Colab. I am going to use Google Colab. Okay, not this Anaconda, because once you have installed Anaconda, then I will start working on Anaconda. So just refer these two videos link. In first link, you are going to get the reference. In second link, the video. It is my video only how to install Anaconda. And along with that, in YouTube also, my video is there that you can also refer for installing Anaconda. So these two videos you can refer for installing the Anaconda. After this, that is the third approach. That is your Google Colab. In real time, this Google Colab is very, very useful. So basically, it is an online compiler, or you can say online IDE for data science. For data science. Basically, if you want to write any code over the internet, I don't have a proper processor, I don't have a proper RAM, you can refer Google Colab in that. So how you can use Google? Very simple it is. Just go on Google, type Google Colab, hit enter. You will see first link Google Colab. Just open. It is an online compiler. Again, I am telling it is an online compiler. Now you will see this kind of screen. You will see this kind of screen. Now, how to create a Python file? A Python file in your Google Colab. This is the interface of Google Colab. Okay. So how you can open a Google Colab file in it? Very simple. Click on file and click on new notebook. Click on new notebook. Just click on this new. So once you are clicking on new notebook, for the first time, it will take a little bit of time. See, it is loading. So what it is a version, it is just a Jupyter notebook only. This Google Colab is just a Jupyter notebook that is running over the server. And which server it is? It is the Google server. Google server it is. That's why it does not require any kind of memory in your system. If you are having a laptop, you can directly use it. Now, if you want to rename your file, for example, in today's session, we are going to discuss about data types. Just write data types. So here you can rename your file. Okay. After this, this is your Google Colab file. Now, how you can write your code, how you can execute your code in this. Remember this thing, whatever things you are seeing here, this thing, this part is known as what? This part is known as cell. This is your cell one. Cell one. This is your cell. Okay. And if you want to run this cell, for example, I have written some code. I want to run this cell. For that, you will see one run button is there. That is this. This run is my button, which is there for running purpose. So let me write one code and then I will explain you. For example, I want to get the value of 10 plus 20. Okay. If you want to run it, you can simply click on this button. And for the first time, when you are opening Google Colab, for the first time, it will take a little bit of time. So if I'm going to run this, see, it is running. Here you will see it is running. Where it is running? It is running on Google server. It is running on Google server. Now see, it is just running it and it will take little bit of time. It will take little bit of time for the first time. Only for the first time, it will take little bit of time. Now you will see your result. Same as it is, I want to create one more cell. This part is known as cell. So if you want to create a new cell, you will see plus button is there. Just click on plus, you can write your second code. For example, my second code is print hello world, like this. Like this. I want to run this code. Just click on this run button. So when you are clicking on this run button, you will see your output is coming. That is hello. So this part is what this complete is known as cell. This complete is known as cell. Now, if you want to delete a cell, here you will see dustbin icon is there. This dustbin icon is basically for deleting a cell. Just click on this, your cell will be deleted. And where this complete processing is happening? In Google server. So generally for data science also, we are using this Google Colab for our programming. For analysis purpose, we are using Google Colab as well. So this is your Google Colab. So tell me how many of you are able to understand how to open Google Colab in your system, because we are going to use Google Colab for this complete coding. Yeah. Saurabh, are you able to open Google Colab? Yes, please respond. No response.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after this, next one, how to make headings in Google Colab. So for example, I want to make some heading. So how we can make heading? Here you will see text option is there. So what this text will do, this text is used for writing headings. So here I have written headings as comments in Python. So that is our first topic that we are going to discuss. What are comments? So what is the meaning of comments? See here, sometimes in our code, we need not to write, we don't want to write, we don't want to execute something, we only want to write something for instruction purpose. That is known as comments. Comments are just used to identify or explain the code. So for example, I have written some code and I want to explain that code to the end user. So if you want to write some documentation for your code, so for that we are having comments. So what are comments? Comments are used to write some documents, for your code, for your okay. If you are having some code, I want to write something for that code. So for that we are having comments. Now whether comment will be executed or not, the answer is whatever things you are writing in the form of comments, comments will never be executed by your compilers. Comment will ignored by the compilers. So that part is comments will be ignored by the compilers. Compilers. That means these will never be executed. Comments will never be executed. Okay, that is your second point. There is one more point which is important here. That is how you can write a comment. How you can write a comment. So if any line is started with hash, then that line is a so anywhere you are seeing this hash, that means it is a comment. Anywhere if you are seeing this hash, that means it is a comment. And comment will never be executed. You cannot execute the comment. For example, I am writing 10 plus 20. This is my code. I want to give some comment here. Some comment. What it is doing? It is just performing addition of 10 and 20. So whether this part of the code will be executed, the answer is no, because we have written hash. So whatever code you have written after this hash, that will be considered as a comment, and comment will never be executed in your code. So if I am going to run this, you will see I am getting answer as 40. So can I write comment anywhere? The answer is yes. In your code, you can write comment anywhere. I want to write comment here. You can write it. So whatever code you have written with this hash, that is your comment. Wherever you are seeing this hash, that is your comments in Python. And comment will never be executed in your program. If you have written a complete program and any program is having this hash, that line will not be executed. So addition of 10 and now suppose that I am not writing hash and directly I am writing addition of 10 plus 20, 10 and 20. Now, if I am going to run this one, it will be executed and Python will return an error for this. Why it will return? Python don't know what is the meaning of addition, what is the meaning of what is the meaning of 10, what is the meaning of 20, what is the meaning of and. Python don't know about this. That is the reason if I am going to run this code, we will get an error. See. And if I am writing hash here, hash means it is a comment. So Python will not execute this statement. This statement will be ignored by the Python the compiler. So if I am going to run this, you will see no any error I am getting and no any output also I am getting because it is a comment. So if any comment is there, that comment will never be executed by compilers. So in diagrammatically, if I can explain you, then whatever comment is there, that comment will never be executed in your code. For example, let me show you diagram. See, suppose that I have written some instruction here, and in this instruction I have written first line as addition of 10 plus 20. Okay. This I have written in hash. After this, directly I am writing 10 plus 20. 10 plus. So now when we are going to execute this code, so this code will be executed in your CPU and compiler will execute it. Compiler will convert your code. So here we are having one compiler and here we are having something like CPU. Okay. So now whatever code you have written here, that code will be passed to this. Okay. That code will be passed to your compiler. Now, what compiler will do? This is your compiler, or you can say interpreter. Both are same. Difference I have already explained you in last. Okay. So this code will, it will take this code as an input. Now, what this code will do? This compiler will simply ignore comments. Simply ignore comments. This code will be whatever code you are seeing here. This hash part will be ignored by your compiler. And after ignoring this hash, whatever machine code is there for this, whatever machine code is there for this, that machine code you will be able to see here. Okay. That machine code you will be able to see here. That is whatever something like 0010, it is anything because binary conversion it is. So that is your machine code. After ignoring your comments. So comments is just for understanding purpose we are writing. Comments are just for understanding purpose. Okay. So we are just for explanation of your code. We are writing comments. Comments will never be executed in your program. That is a story of comments. Now, if any doubt is there in comments, please let me know. Huh. Any doubt, any question in this comments? No doubt, no question. Guys, at least give response. Okay, fine. Now, after this, print function is there. What is your print? So basically, in your screen, if you want to print something, for that we are having one function that is known as print function. For example, I want to print my name. I want to print my name to the screen. So for that, we are having one function. Function is what? Function is some inbuilt code. Some inbuilt code is there in our Python that is known as function. So function is some inbuilt code which is there. So if you want to print something or if you want to print something, let me write here. If we want to print something in our screen, then we are using print function. Print function. So if you want to print something to the screen, for that we are having this print function. Let me write print. Let me write my name is. Here I am writing something else. So I want to print this. I want to print this. So if you want to print this, I am getting my result as my name is. Same as it is, I want to print something like I am from Stu Valley, something like this. Okay. So what it will do, it will execute because Python is an interpreted language. Interpreted language means line by line. First this line, then this line. This line, then this. Now suppose that I don't want to print these two things in different line. I don't want to print these two things in different line. In same line, I want to print this. So how we can print these two things in same line? So for that, you need to put one attribute, or you can say some data, some value. Here one value is there that is known as end. What this end will do? This end is used for printing your content into the same line. Same line. If you want to print something in same line, you are going to use this end. Okay. And here, whatever you are printing, for example, I am writing dash dash. So what it will do? First, it will print this content. Then it will take this dash dash. Then it will take I am from HTML technologies. it will be look like this. See. So if you don't want to print your content in next line, you can print in same line as you can print in same line as. Suppose that I want to print multiple values together. Multiple things I want to print. Print something like I am writing. I am from Stu Valley Technology. This is the first content that I want to print. Okay. And my second content is I am a Python. Okay. Two content I am trying to print. This is my first content and this is my second content. So if you want to print like this, see here, what result we will get? We are getting same result like this. Same result like this. Now suppose that between these two content, you are able to see spaces are come. Or in other words, let me take one more example for explanation purpose, so that you will get more clarity in this. I am writing something like 10 and 20, 10, 20, 30, 50, something like this. See, it is printing 10. Then after that, you are able to see space. From where this is space? From where this is space is? Basically, in our print function, there is one variable which is there that is known as SEP. SEP. And by default, what is your SCP value? By default, SCP value is your space. That's why when you are trying to print multiple values in your print statement, when we are trying to print multiple values in our print statement, in that case, space is going to be considered as a separator between two values. Two values are there. Between these values, who is your separator? So space is your separator. By default, space is your separator. I don't want a space. I want my own separator. So you can write your own separator. For example, I am writing something like dash dash. So what it will do? 10 will be printed. After that, 2 separator will be printed. Then 20 will be printed. Then again 2 hyphen will be there. Then 30 will be printed. Then again 2 hyphen will be there. Then 40 will be printed. Again 2 hyphen will be there. So this separator is just used to separate the values in your print statement. So this is my print statement. In this print statement, I want to print these values based on this separator. Separator means multiple values you are trying to print. How you can separate one value to another value? For that, we are having this SEP variable. And if you want to print your data in next line, for that we are having END attribute. And in other words, it is also known as variables. That is your print state. Now, if any question is there in this, please let me. If any kind of question is there in this, please let me. Yes, Saurabh, any question in this print? Okay. Next, we are having data types concept. Very important concept. What is data type? So as the name suggests, whenever we are doing some type of programming means coding, some instructions we are going to write. So if you are writing some instructions, we are giving some data to our program. What is that data? For example, I want to perform addition. So if you want to perform addition, definitely you need to give two values. So what are these two values? These two values are nothing but your data. Okay, same as it is. If you want to store mobile number, definitely for mobile number, some one value you need to give, and that value is what? It is also your data. For example, I want to print some name. Name is what? Name is some data. So that is also one value, or that value is nothing but your data. So data means which kind of value you are using in your program. Which kind of data you are using in your program. That is the meaning of data type. Data type means data plus type. Data plus type. So data plus type means data type signifies which kind of data we are using in our program. Which kind of data? For example, if you want to store name, or you can say mobile number. Mobile number. So if you are having mobile number, so what is the type of mobile number? It may be a number. It may be a number. Anything it is. It may be a number. Same as it is name. If you want to store a name, it may be some alphabets. It may be some alphabets. Same as it is if I am having something like address. It may be something like alphabets. If you want to store something like salary, salary may be in the form of decimals. So something like decimal. Decimal. So these are what? These are just examples. These are what? These are just the examples of data type. Examples of data types. So data type means which kind of data you are using in your program. That is the meaning of data type. Which kind of data you are using in your program, that is the meaning of data type. Now here one important story is there in Python. That is your Python is your dynamic type programming language. So in last session, I have mentioned this thing that Python is a dynamic typed programming language. So what is the meaning of dynamic type programming language? So that thing we need to understand. Dynamic type programming language. Now, what is the meaning of this dynamic type programming language? Now, Python is a dynamic type programming language. Python is a dynamic type programming. Basically, what is the meaning of this? So, dynamic type programming language means when you are creating any kind of value or variable, you need not to give which kind of data you are using for your program. So, whenever there is there is a requirement of any data, where there is a requirement of any data, we need not to mention which kind of data we are using in our program. So which kind of data we are referring in our program, we need not to mention. Directly you can use that data. For example, I want to write something like name. So in other programming languages, which are static type, in other languages, if you want to store some number, so you need to write something like int a is equal to 5, something like this. So what it signifies? It signifies that a is of integer type. So which kind of value I am trying to store in this a? Integer type of value I am trying to store in this a. So we are specifying which kind of data we are using. But in case of Python, we will simply write a is equal to 5. Now, when a is equal to 5, I am writing, how Python will understand? Remember this thing, Python will automatically understand. Which kind of data you are using in your program. Python will automatically understand. Why? Because Python is a dynamic type. देखो यहाँ पे सिंपल कॉन्सेप्ट है. क्या कॉन्सेप्ट है? अगर डायनेमिक टाइप प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज है तो हमें डेटा टाइप देना नहीं पड़ता है while declaring a variable और declaring a data. जब भी हम लोग डायनेमिक टाइप प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज की बात करते हैं वहां पे हम लोग को डेटा टाइप एक्सप्लिसिटली मेंशन नहीं करना. Whereas in other programming languages like C, C++, Java, if you want to use any kind of data, you need to mention which kind of data you are using in your program. Whereas in case of Python programming, no need to mention which kind of data you are using. Directly you can use that data and it will work. You will get your result. For example, let me show. I am writing something like a is equal to 5. A is equal to 5. I am running it. See, directly we are not getting any result, we are not getting anything, but still it is working. But if I am writing int a is equal to 5, it will give an error. Why? Because Python is a dynamic type programming language. Dynamic type means if you want to create any data or any variable, you need not to mention which kind of data type it is. By default, whatever value you have given based on the value, Python will automatically understand the data type. By default, Python will automatically understand the data type. As a programmer, you need not to mention which kind of data you are using. Directly, you can use it and it will work. It will work. You will get your result. For example, let me print a value. Let me print a value. See, we are getting 5 results. Okay. So being a programmer, we need not to mention which kind of data we are using in our. You can directly use that data and it will work. Python is a dynamic type programming language. Dynamic type means as a programmer, you need not to mention which kind of data type you are using in your program. Directly you can use it, it will work. Directly you can use it, it will work. Now here two functions are which are very, very important. First function is known as type function. First function is known as type function. First function is known as type function and second function is known as ID function. Now what this type function and what this ID function is giving. So basically this type function is used to return the data type of the value. And what this ID will do? This ID will return memory location of that value. So these are the two functions which are there. What is the meaning of this? Try to understand. Suppose that I have created A is equal to 10. A is equal to 10 I have taken. So which kind of data type is there in this A? Which kind of data type is there in this A? I want to check that data type. So for that we need to use type function. So type of what? Variable name, which is A. Type of A. A is what? A is a variable name. Just run it. See what it is giving? It is giving you int. So what is the data type for this? It is of int type. Same as it is if I am writing print ID of, what is the meaning of ID? This ID will give you memory location, where this one is present, where this variable is present. And what this type will do? Type will give the data type of that function, of that value. Let me run this. What is the data type? Integer is my data type. And what is this one? This is a memory location where this A is equal to 10 is, yes, A is equal to 10 is present. So this type is one function that will give you which kind of data you are using in your program. And second function is your ID function that will give you memory location of your variable. And what is this variable? Variable is your, so what variable will do? Let me explain that thing as well. Variables in Python. So what are the variables which are there? So variables means variables are used to hold the value, okay? Hold the value inside a variable. It is used for holding the value for into a variable. Let me take one example for understanding. Suppose that I am writing A is equal to 10. Now, what is the meaning of this? This means that A is holding a value 10. So 10 is stored where? Or other word, we can say 10 is stored inside a variable named as A. So basically for storing purpose, we are having variable concept. So what is this A? A is your variable. A is your variable. And 10 is what? 10 is the value which is assigned into this A value. 10 is the value which is assigned into this A value. That is the story of. Next is what? Now, if any question, any doubt you guys want to ask, please let me know. Whatever we have discussed till now, if any question is there, please let me know. No doubt. Okay. Now next one is what? Which kind of, next is our types of data types. So in Python, what are the data types which are, that is our next concept. Our next concept is which kind of data we are using in our program, that is types of data. So कितने टाइप के डेटा हम लोग यूज कर सकते हैं अपने पाइथन के कोड, कितने टाइप के डेटा हम अपने पाइथन की कोड में यूज कर सकते हैं, दैट इज द थिंग. सो फर्स्ट टाइप इज नोन एज न्यूमेरिक डेटा टाइप. Numeric data type. So in numeric data type, we are having int, we are having float, we are having complex. Second kind of data जो होता है वो हमारा होता है sequence data type. That is your list, tuple and string. Third type of data is known as Boolean data type. Fourth type of data type is known as dictionary or hash map. Fifth type of data type is known as set. So basically इतने data type हमारे Python के अंदर होते, इतने data type सिर्फ Python के अंदर. Okay, so int float complex is your numeric data type. Then we are having sequence data type. Then we are having Boolean data type. Then we are having dictionary data type. Then we are having set data type. So basically this much of data types are there in our Python program. So one by one, let me discuss each and every data type. First data type is your numeric data type. So in numeric data type, I am going to discuss integer, int data type. So anybody who can tell me what is int data type? Integer. What are integers?
So number, numerical
Number is your integer, numerical value. Can numerical value can be negative or positive? Integer contains negative or positive values, both values or only positive values?
So both the values.
Both the values, correct. So basically integer data type means the data type which holds positive and negative values, negative numerical values. In other words, one more thing we can say here, that is a number without decimal. A number without decimal is known as which kind of data type? It is your int data type. A number without decimal is known as int type of data. So if I can show you, I am writing a is equal to 10. Okay, let me check what is the type of it. So type is one function which is there that is used for giving you which kind of data you are using here. So let's see type. So what is my type? Int type. Int means integer type. Why class is coming? I will discuss that thing later. So int means it is your integer data. So same as it is if I am writing something like a is equal to minus 2987, something like this. Okay, minus. Let me take what is the type of. It is also your integer type. But one thing you need to remember, if decimal is there, then that must not be that must not be your integer. अगर decimal आता है तो वो integer data type कभी भी नहीं हो सकता है. That point you guys need to remember. If decimal is there, then it will come in second category, that is known as float data type. So integer में decimal का concept नहीं हो सकता. अगर decimal रख रहे हो तो वो float में चला जाएगा. See, 0.0 I am taking, point means a decimal. So if you are seeing decimal in any code, that is your float data. So first data type is your integer data type that will hold integer values. Integer can be positive and negative. Both the integers are acceptable. We can use that values. So integer means positive and negative integer values or numerical values. Any doubt? Nice. Any type of question, any doubt? Okay. Now, second kind of data is what? Second kind of data is known as float data type. Now, what is your float data type? So basically, float data type is hold positive and negative decimal values, not numerical. It is decimal values. So if any value is having a decimal number, that is your float data. If any value is having decimal value, decimal point, that is your float value. A number with decimal. Okay. Integer, and you can say float. Float means positive and negative decimal numbers. Decimal number. So anywhere if you are putting dot means decimal, then what is the type of it? That is your float type. So if I'm going to run this, you will see it is your float data. So what is float? If you are seeing this decimal means floating point. Any number is having decimal, that is known as floating point number. Any number is having decimal, that is your floating point number. So in your integer, you don't have decimal point. In your float data type consists of decimal. Is there any range? The answer is no. No any range. You can take any number. Let me take a very big one. You can take any kind of number. No any limitation is there. Like 0.999 is something like this I am taking. A very big number. So is it a float number? Yes, it is a float number. If I am going to check the type of A, it is your float number. See. Float. So this is your float data type. This is your float data. Now in float data type, any type of question, any kind of doubt? Fine. So integer and float, after that we are having one more data type that is known as complex data type. Now this data type generally we are using. We are not using. In real time, we are not using this float data type. So what is this? If any number is in below format, then that is known as floating point number. What is the format? A plus IB or A plus BJ. X is equal to A plus BJ. So if any number is in this format, that is known as a complex number. What is A here? A means real number. And what is B here? B means imaginary. B means imaginary number. What are real number? Real number means complete numbers. Imaginary number means we are just imagining, like imaginary numbers are based on quadratic root. In mathematics, you have learned the imaginary part. Okay, I think one formula is there. Tarachara formula. There you will see the imaginary part. Under root negative. Negative under root is known as imaginary part. If any number is having under root as negative values, that is known as imaginary. Okay. So now let me take example to explain you this. For example, I am taking x is equal to 2 plus 20g. And let me check the type of print type of x. So it will be your complex data type. Why? Because the format is, what is your real part? Real part is 2. What is your imaginary part? 20 is your imaginary part. In real time, we are not using it because in data analysis, data scientist, web development, automation, we are not using. Generally, we are not using these complex numbers, but still it is there. That's why I'm explaining. One thing here you need to remember, if you want to get real and imaginary parts separately, you can get the imaginary part with the help of some values. What are those values? Those is known as x dot real. That means variable name dot real. It will give you real part of this complex number. Same as it is if I am writing print x dot img or imag, I think. Yeah, imgg. What it will give? It will give you imaginary part. So if you want to get imaginary part and real part separately, you will get both the things with these two values. But one thing you need to remember, both the things will return you a float number. This will also return you a float number. This will also return you a float number. That means a decimal number. See, 2.0 and 20.0. What is my real part in this? Real part is A, which is 2. And what is my imaginary part? 20 is my imaginary part. That is your complex. Now there may a question you may arise, like there may be a question, एक question आ सकता है कि complex number फिर Python में है क्या? अगर हम लोग उसका यूज नहीं करते हैं तो complex number है क्या? Anybody any idea? कहीं पे ये पढ़ा हुआ है complex number तुम लोगों ने? Anybody who has learned this complex number before? Anybody? Anybody? Complex number कहीं नहीं पढ़ा? Nobody is from electrical background. In electronics, this is very common. Complex number. Complex number is used for scientific computing. Scientific computer means satellite. There is one subject image processing, I think. Yeah, image processing. There is one subject in electrical that is known as image signal processing. I think, yeah, signal processing. Signal processing. So there, this term is very common. That is known as complex. And why we are having this thing? For communicating over satellites. If you want to communicate over satellites, this complex data type is very, very important. That is the reason ISRO, you guys know about ISRO organization? You guys know about ISRO organization? Any idea?
Yes, sir.
ISRO जो है वो पाइथन रेफर करती है. उसका रीजन क्या है? ये रीजन है क्योंकि पाइथन के अंदर कॉम्प्लेक्स डेटा की कैपेबिलिटी होती है. तो इजिली हम लोग साइंटिफिक कंप्यूटिंग के काम पाइथन से कर सकते हैं. इवन इसरो जो है खूब सारे कॉन्टेस्ट करवाता है पाइथन के. ठीक है, कोर्सेस करवाता है पाइथन के. So that is also there. Why ISRO is there for Python programming? That's why for scientific computing. Scientific computing means communication with satellites, signals. That is known as scientific computing. So if you want to perform scientific computing, your complex number will come into the picture. So whatever ISRO is there, NASA is there, whatever satellites organizations are there, all these organizations are using Python because of complex data. Other programming language does not have this kind of flexibility. Java में complex नहीं है, C++ में complex नहीं है. In Python only we are having complex. You will see Python, like there is a course which is there in Python that is implemented by ISRO. So even ISRO is using a lot of courses which are there with Python. So that is also complex data. So that is the reason we are having complex data type. So what is the use of complex data type? Complex data types are used for scientific computing. Scientific computing. That is the reason. ISRO, DRDO, all these organizations considering Python as their first language. First language. Okay, that is actually. This is your complex data. Now, after this, we are having next data type that is known as sequence data type. That we will discuss in next session. Now, if any doubt, any question, anything you guys want to ask, you can ask one by one. Any type of question, if you guys want to ask, you can. कुछ भी पूछना हो पूछ सकते हो. Now, doubt session is there, like 5 minutes. Doubts are there. Any doubt is there, any type of question is there, you can ask. Yes, Saurabh, any question, any doubt in this?
No, sir, no doubt.
Okay, so we are having sequence data type that we will cover in next session. Sequence data type means your list, set, tuple, and dictionary. So that we will discuss in next session. So list, tuple, string, Boolean data type, dictionary, and set. These things we will discuss in next session. This is all about today's session. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir, can I wind up the session?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.